You know, being an old school FNAF fan who honestly only keeps up with fan games currently, I think you can kinda sorta notice a few trends within the games people were making at the time. Trends such as making simulator games that were literally just looking at a timer go down, coming up with super original ideas of Fredbear's Family Diner. And that one time, everyone was making their own version of FNAF. Y'all remember watching the jump scare compilations as a kid? But a recent trend that caught my eye was the massive influx of people trying to put their own spin on the most iconic game in the series. Okay guys, this might seem like an out of nowhere video, and today, we are discussing the problem with FNAF 1 remakes. From a gameplay aspect, I do think just about every installment in the franchise is not innocent to their flaws. This game is too hard, and whenever you figure it out, it becomes too boring. This game's too easy, but the concept is kind of fire. This one's actually the best one gameplay-wise, and if you think otherwise, then please unsubscribe. Fire, but it's more of a visual novel. Fire, except the actual FNAF part, and this game just feels really crusty. I do think the first game actually has the least amount of flaws besides the nights being way too long. Although the gameplay boils down to versus Bonnie and sometimes Chica, the main problem with people attempting to remake or make their own spin on this game is that you can't really change much with it. I really do think the door mechanic is cool visually and it's a pretty good way to get spooks out of the player, but having it kind of reduces all the characters to behave around it. Mainly because that's the only way they could get into your office. And if you close both doors, you can't really die. I mean, you could die later, but you get the point. You can really only make little tiny adjustments to the characters. The bunny moves fast but leaves your door fast. The fat one stays at your door longer. The fox runs to your door. And the bear just laughs at your door for the entire night. What the heck is so funny? So what do you think fan games tend to switch up with this particular gameplay loop? Well, kind of nothing. For example, this brand new fan game that goes by Five Nights at Freddy's BATTINGTON Edition. And the twist is that instead of the characters looking like this, they look like this. Gameplay wise, literally nothing changes. Like, I'm not making this up. All the characters behave the same, the sound effects are the same, and the only thing that really changes is how they look. I know these designs are in style with BATTINGTON's VHS thing or whatever, but I personally never got into it, and I'm not really a big fan of how they look in the game. I know this game is technically a test demo, and I doubt they'll have the full version look exactly like the first game. They put in the effort to remake the entire location from scratch, so I hope they attempt to put their own spin on it. Kinda similar to Lego Five Nights at Freddy's. I was really looking forward to this game because, like, the characters are Legos. Come on, they look silly. The game pretty much didn't change anything gameplay-wise besides making it feel smoother, adding a shop, multiple Easter eggs, and little secrets that I'm very fond of. Granted that this game is more of a mod than a fan game, it still does have the flaws of FNAF 1, such as the nights being boring after night 1. And the most optimal strategy for the harder difficulties to be less of a skill check and more of an endurance test. But I actually do like this game a lot, and I heavily respect the effort that went into this game. You gotta wonder how long it took to redesign the entirety of FNAF 1 from the ground up. Kinda like if you were to remake the game, but instead, the animatronics move in real time. Okay, they don't actually move in real time because for some reason they're using a 3D engine to make the characters in-game be 2D pre-rendered animations.
Wow, it's just like real life, man. What the?
But anyways, FNAF in real time is another FNAF 1 remake that is already mega popular and it hasn't even came out yet. Actually, the demo came out during the making of this video. And my opinion so far on it is, I mean, it's alright.
Overrated as in my opinion.
The ambience feels too techno and sci-fi for my taste. Not a big fan of any of the jump scares. And it's weird because the game doesn't copy the original mechanics or improve on it at all. The camera's never cut out, so you always know where the characters are. I wanted to complain about Foxy, but I couldn't get him to run down the hallway for 2 in real life hours. This wall texture, and this is just personal, but I feel like a game like this should never have a demo because the whole selling point of it was the animations and the 6-hour mode. Now that everyone has sort of experienced it, I don't really know what more there is to be excited about. Feel like the dev team kind of dropped the ball on this one, but at least the menu's cool. These are only a few out of the hundreds of FNAF 1 fan games that I wanted to bring up. Like, don't even get me started on the free roam ones. As nostalgic and iconic the first game is, you gotta wonder why so much people choose to remake this game in particular when the other three could have way cooler changes in my opinion. I can only really think of two reasons why this is the case. The first one being is that YouTubers eat that stuff up. Personally, I feel like we're kind of evolving backwards in creativity here. Instead of just taking gameplay elements and adding onto it with fan games, we are just remaking the same game. On the other hand, a more probable reason why this is occurring is due to the cancellation of the most awesome and iconic remake ever. As you probably know, FNaF Plus was an officially licensed FNAF game developed by FNaF that took the elements of the first game but adding a darker, spookier tone to it. I can't lie, in concept, it was kind of interesting to see a revision of the first game in this light that didn't drop you in the most awkward bedroom ever. I feel like this remake in particular actually tried switching up a few gameplay elements that I just don't see from any of the new remakes at all. For example, the way you had to turn the cameras manually. Although I probably assumed that this would be a forgotten mechanic when you progress later in the game. But this would encourage the player to pay attention to animatronic details. And remember that if you can't find them on the cameras, they may just be out of line of sight. Another good gameplay choice I liked was the fact that the office was more 360-ish. I love this so much, not only because the paranormal effect was one of the best things fan game developers decided to do, but because one of the flaws of FNAF 1 is that you could just camp Bonnie's door and look at Freddy consistently. But in Plus, from what it seems, if you wanted to check the doors, you would have to 100% commit to the choice, which probably makes the game a little scary. And looking back, I think all of the designs, not you, are pretty solid and kind of cool.
Alright, me mateys, smile for the camera.
At the time, this was definitely one of the most popular fan games out there, and it was still in development. Till it wasn't. Unfortunately, because of FNAF Plus getting killed, it has now just become the canceled FNAF game. Or like, this FNAF game has become lost media. Abandoned by Scott. Abandoned by Disney. And because of this, it seems like people are like, well, what if I remade FNAF 1? Honestly, fan games were the only thing I was ever interested in FNAF lately. Still haven't played Security Breach. As oversaturated the FNAF 1 remake idea is, I can't lie, seeing Freddy as a Lego or watching Bonnie walk all the way back from your door is pretty cool. I'm still sorta excited for these reboots / remakes of official games, but they shouldn't take away all your attention from the amazing underrated projects people have been working on. Like, you cannot quantify how excited I am for the new drug creation and the new Treasure Island. But that's enough yapping, and that's the problem with FNAF 1 remakes. Hey guys, you like the video? Hey, most people don't last this long. I mean, you know, they usually move on to other things by now. I guess I might be doing an update video later talking about how I want to focus on this super secret project I've been cooking up for you guys. That or another Dragon Ball video, because for some reason my last video got 60,000 more views during June. Is that effed up? I think that's a little effed up. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and check those cameras, and remember to close the doors only if absolutely necessary. Gotta conserve power. All right, good night.